there we go.
All right, yeah, let's
We'll get out of the street here a little bit.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Recording in progress.
Okay. My name is Carter Agree. I'm great-grandson of Isaac Agree.
Woo!
And I have a document here that the much loved and respected Dr. Martin Herman, Marty,
Woo!
wrote about the background of the Isaac Agree Synagogue. And he did a great job here. I learned a lot of things, including the significance of the third day of Hanukkah, which is why we're here today. Okay, so let me get going here. In the beginning, the early years, 1921 to 1937, the antecedents of the Isaac Agree Downtown Synagogue date back to the first quarter of the 20th century on December 28th, 1921. The third day of Hanukkah that year, 1921, third day of Hanukkah, so 100 years. Let's see, the third day of Hanukkah that year, Charles, which was my grandfather, Grandpa Charlie, and Nathan, his brother, Uncle Nate, the two sons of Isaac Agree, joined by members of the Canvasser, Kaplan, Rosen, and Zatnick families, established the Isaac Agree Memorial Society. The objective of this socially conscious and religiously observant group of families, primarily business owners and professionals, was to memorialize the late Isaac Agree, 1863 to 1921. So they set this up soon after he passed away. And a Russian immigrant who moved from New York to Detroit in 1904 and perpetuate his pioneering achievements in the fields of Jewish education and philanthropy by providing the Jewish community with a house of study that would enhance the role of the traditional Orthodox Judaism in the city of Detroit. By collectively agreeing to underwrite the entire cost of such an undertaking, they hoped to strengthen the bonds of friendship that linked the founding families and avoid the need to seek funding elsewhere. In 1922, the Agree Society began to implement its mission by founding and funding a Talmud Torah, a Hebrew school that would be open to all who wished to attend, housed in a home located at 121 Rosedale Court, 4 blocks north of Boston Boulevard, between Woodward and Brush Street. The Rosedale Free Talmud Torah, as it came to be known, was situated in an area then known as Detroit's North End. Though it remained primarily a school, it occasionally functioned as a place to meet and worship. 5 years later, the original site had clearly outgrown its purpose. Consequently, on September 18, 1927, the Agree Society moved the facility to a larger house, also located on Rosedale Court. This one, situated between Woodward Avenue and John R. Street, had been remodeled to better serve as both Talmud Torah and synagogue. The Society's now enhanced mission was to provide both a synagogue as well as a school, open and free of charge or obligation to all. To demonstrate its commitment, the 35-member congregation invited the entire Jewish community of metropolitan Detroit to join it for high holiday services. All expenses underwritten by the Society, a practice that has continued ever since. The combined synagogue and Talmud Torah flourished for 10 more years, offering intellectual stimulation and spiritual nourishment to those who availed themselves of its services. Okay, now the second part here, a move to downtown. In 1937, as Jewish families moved from the neighborhood and circumstances changed, the Agree Society closed the Rosedale Court complex and relocated the still unnamed synagogue, not to be formally named the Downtown Synagogue until 1940, to rented space at 1205 Griswold Street, corner of State Street, in the heart of Detroit's business district, on a site now occupied by Capitol Park. It was not anticipated that this rented space would be its home until the building was demolished in 1958. Synagogue and school remained free to all who wished to attend. Though a substantial number of synagogues had long since been built in several Detroit neighborhoods, there were no synagogues or other Jewish institutions located downtown to serve both the Jewish population living and working in Central City, as well as out-of-town visitors. what little Jewish religious activity had taken place prior to 1937 apparently took place on an ad hoc basis. Guided spiritually by Rabbi Elmer Klein from 1927 to 1937, the relocated facility continued to perform its mission as an Orthodox synagogue and center of learning, making a unique and valuable contribution to the Jewish communal life by serving a population that had previously been neglected or underserved. Now the last part here, because you're probably all cold, is in 1938, Rabbi Herman Rosenwasser, born in Hungary and a graduate of the Hebrew Union College, succeeded Rabbi Klein and led the congregation for the next 17 years from 1938 to 1955. Outgoing and personable, he was a professionally trained linguist and a specialist in the area of Jewish mysticism and a prolific scholar as well as a rabbi. Interestingly, and perhaps even surprisingly, Rabbi Rosenwasser took a keen interest in those Jewish families who chose to live downtown, as well as business owners and professionals who worked there. By so doing, he endeared himself to the local Jewish community. He was also particularly mindful of catering to the needs of visitors to the city. Although the following decades, 1938 through 1963, were filled with uncertainty, the Agree Society continued to underwrite the entire cost of maintaining the downtown synagogue. And the Jewish community at large was still invited to participate, free of charge in its many activities, daily services and Shabbat services, festivals and high holiday services, educational programs and social events, active prayer and quiet meditation. Everyone who lived or worked in the metropolitan area, city dweller or suburbanite, affiliated or unaffiliated with other synagogues, and all visitors were equally welcome. In 1946, the Isaac Agree Memorial Society hosted a family reunion to commemorate the 25th anniversary of its founding and celebrate its silver jubilee. Several hundred attendees, drawn principally from members of the founding families, now far-flung and living in many corners of the country, were welcomed by Alan Agree, the Society's president, who reminded the members of financial aid given by the Society to numerous charities, both local and overseas. In the field of education, it has supported the Rosedale Free Talmud Torah. In the area of religious worship, the Rosedale and later the downtown synagogues were established and maintained. Anticipating continued commitment to Detroit's Jewish community, Nathan A. Agree, that's my Uncle Nate, as I remember him when I was a kid, Nathan A. Agree, enumerating highlights of the Society's activities, noted that it had invested some of its capital in several lots located on Petoskey Avenue. It did so with the intention of establishing a downtown clubhouse or center for its members, though building restrictions made it impossible to realize such a goal at that time. The expectation was that another tribute to Isaac Agree would soon be woven into the fabric of Detroit's Jewish community. And that's it. So that's all the time prior to the current synagogue. So that's it.
Woo!
Martin Herman wrote this. Very interesting. So that's what I got.
You want to shoot out the flamethrower?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, the benefit of having something to
You'll
say
figure it out.
here is you get to play with the fire.
Okay, the bottom three.
Hey, Gary.